everyone, thanks so much for coming through to the video. My name's Tash and I'm from Heart and Design, and today we're going to go through a page from my Learn to Draw Christmas book. This is available if you pop to my link in bio. It's available on my W. You can have it as a download printable, which is what this is. I've printed it off and made a book, or you can order the book. The book is smaller, I would say though, but that's fine because then you can draw some smaller pictures. I wanted to print them off nice and big because I'm going to be showing you how to do it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the grid down there so you can see the picture above. We're going to do this lovely little picture of sweets in a jar. It's like a Christmas sweetie jar, isn't it? All you need is a pencil of any kind, an eraser. I've got an electric eraser just because I love them. They're great, so I recommend. You might also want to get a blending pencil. This is called a blender. What it does is it blends your pigments together from the pencil, coloured pencils, if we do coloured pencil, and just kind of makes it more vibrant. So I think that's all you need. Now, what you do need is your eyes. So we're gonna think, I always like to start roughly at the top somewhere. I don't know why that is. Now the lines of this jar are really thick and obviously your pencil isn't. So just go roughly for an idea of where you think kind of the middle of that line would be. Now we only want to go to about there. So this is what your eraser for, is to rub out the bits that you've used to kind of place everything, but then get rid of it when you don't need it anymore. So then we've come to the top of the rim here, then just below we've got our inner rim. So we're going to make a little curl and come round through the middle and then do the same on the other side. Okay, from there we can now draw in our top. So draw your two lines like that, and then we're going to swing by and make a cup curved kind of shape, and then we're going to swing over the top and do the curve at the top. We've already made a good start. Now what we want to do is bring that that stopper down to the line here, and we want to do another curve that kind of matches the curve above. So we've drawn our stopper. Now what we want to do is come back to the glass, and we want to start curving around, not too much, just start a little curve, then we come around the corner of the next square down, and then we curve and we can come straight down. It's quite close to that line there, it's not too far away, until we're about halfway down. We want it to be pretty even, so we're going to do the same on this side. Do little lines. I always say when we're drawing, do little lines. See, I think that's not quite the same as the other side, so I'm going to rub it out and start again. So these are a really good way to start drawing, because you're learning observation, you're learning about proportion, things in proportion to each other, but you're learning about it in an easy way by having that grid there. And there's no pressure because we can do rubbing out. Now I have done that in one sweep, but you can do little lines just to make sure you get it how you want it. I actually don't think I've come curved round enough. It's a bit too flat. So I'm going to do that again. Just trying to show to you that it doesn't matter if you do things that are not quite how you wanted to start with. You can do them again. I think that's better. Yeah. I've come back round properly, and I've come down, sorry, just getting that in the right place. I've come down to the bottom of the jar. Now in this picture you don't see the back of the jar because we've got sweets and all things like that in there. There's also dots on the on the cork, which I wouldn't bother putting in until we come over it with a liner pen. So first of all, I'm going to draw the sweet at the very front that's here, because that will help give us a guide for everything that's behind it. So it comes just past here and through that corner and out to this top bit here. And then we rectangle it, but with curved kind of ends, and then we come around here. And then we can just Just, it doesn't really matter where you place it according to the lines, just give it a nice sweetie end. There we are. What you want to do is put some little marks in that show the pattern, and the same on the sweet. Do the pattern lines just to show curved and just to give it some kind of interest. Okay, then we've got another one coming from this one. So it's difficult for me to try and show you without the light shadowing my hand. So let's try, I think it's quite far along. I think it's coming from about here. And say to about there. Curving there, and then it's meeting at the cross here. So that's good. We've pretty much got that's too short, the measurements right on the previous one. I'm not sure it needs to have anything down there. I think it makes it look too long, so I'm not going to. And that's the joy of art. You can do however you feel is right. I just think it would be behind that sweet myself. So we'll leave it like that. And then some more patterns on. Hang on, maybe it would just have a little bit. We'll do it, even though I'm not 100% sure we would see it. But anyway, right, we'll go from here to just under halfway on that line and then come round. This is just, I think, like a gobstopper type sweet. And here. Then from here, we're going to come round to the top of that corner. Around quite far along that line. Oh, we haven't put the sweet on the end of the gobstopper sweet. Maybe it's just a round chocolate or something. And then we'll come around and we'll hit that one there. So we kind of got a nice kind of circle shape in there. We need to find where we think the center is, and then we can just spiral out. It's like one of those lollipops, isn't it? We're just doing little spirals. Now, if I'm going too fast, please do stop me and start me again, and then we can carry on. Okay, so we're coming up here to where the line is of, I've touched it, but you don't have to actually touch the line. And then use your little line. Instead of just doing one big line, use the advantage of drawing those little lines in to try and get the shape nice and slowly in place. Okay. So that's our candy cane done. We need to put some stripes on. Round. And a few there as well. So I am going to put in these little marks because these kind of help to show that it's 3D around the jar. And I know that the grid is in the way, but whilst you're doing your first run of this, the grid is so much help. Now what you can do is get another piece of paper now, draw very lightly in pencil the grid, draw this image and liner pen it, and then you can even colour it in. Let's see how far I get with it. We might do the colouring in as well today. So you can either continue watching whilst I line a pen, or you can switch me off now, go back to the beginning, print off the sheet if you've got the downloadables off my website, and join in. It is really good fun to bring all these drawings to life. I would say this is kind of an intermediate drawing. There's in one book, you go from really simple ones for total beginners. There's some for intermediates for once you've got the hang of it. And then there's some really detailed ones at the end to give you a bit of a challenge. If you need to repeat some, that's pretty good what the download is for, pretty much. Do you know what we didn't do? We didn't draw like this kind of shape, which is helping to create the imagery of a glass jar. So we mustn't forget those shapes. Right, coming round now and finding where I think the best line is from our drawing, so that when we rub it out, I know I've got the lines that I wanted. So I'm being a bit more purposeful than I was with my pencils, and making sure that I have actually got everything where I want it. Again, it's a fun activity. Don't stress about it too much. Try and relax with it. I would say one of the good things about these books is that you could take them anywhere. Although this is an A4 version, because I'm teaching from it, the books are smaller, so they can easily fit in your bag. And this is one reason why I did them that size, because I wanted them to be portable for you guys, so that all you need really is a pencil, a rubber, and a liner pen. And if you wanted to do them again, you can do them back at home. If you wanted to colour them, you don't need to carry a pencil, coloured pencils with you. So I'm quite happy with the way that's come out. Made a little mistake on lining that one, but that's okay. Because remember, we're doing this for the process. We're enjoying it and we're learning from it. So trying to make sure that these curls are relatively the same distance apart. Just need to do the other sweep there. And I think that's all of the jar stuff done. Now, what I did say was that we would come in and just do some dots on the cork. Just helps to make it look like it really is cork, because cork has all those kind of patterns in, doesn't it? I'll bring you down a little bit closer so you can see what I'm doing, just for this last bit, because you still need to see the picture at the top. But it's nice for you to be in as close as you can. There we go. So we've got our sweets in a jar. Next, as I said, you can draw this on a piece of white paper, on a grid that's pencil. So then you could rub everything out with an eraser, just like I will with this one anyway, even though it's in the book, because it will help you to just see the lines that you've drawn with a pen, which are your final lines. Remember, we draw lots of little lines to make up the general feel of the shape we're going for. And then when we come to do the liner pen, we choose the final outline that we're happy with. Yeah, looks better already. So I hope you enjoyed that. We can maybe go on to colouring it. I'll just transfer it now and we can go on to a colouring. Okay, so I've redrawn the image again onto some plain paper, but obviously I've done that off camera, not to bore you. So now it's time to choose my colours, and I'll get back and we'll get started. Okay, I've chosen my first two colours, and of course I have gone for red and green. So a lot of what we have here will be red and green. So it doesn't matter what make pencils you have, but I'm using Castle Arts. I really do love Castle Arts. I just think they're such great value for your money. Now I'm just going in with one layer of this red. And then I'll probably come over and shade it to try and make it 3D, and I'll show you what I mean. So in order to make this 3D, we need to have some kind of shading around the edges to make it seem as though it's curving. So as it's going away from us, it's getting darker, and as the curve's coming nearer to us, it's getting lighter. Okay, so we do that on every part. And that helps to create the 3D-ness of our picture. Okay. I'm not sure how long this video is going to be, but it might be in a few parts. I think I'm already into 2 parts because not for TikTok anyway. We're only allowed 10 minutes at the moment. Right, some green on there. Remember, just dark there. I'm going to do a bit of dark there because it is in the shadows. Dark on the outsides, light on the middle, and that helps to create our 3D roundness. Light, dark. Keep it nice and sharp, your pencils, because that will help your precision. And that dark and light difference, what we call value. And as we change our values, that helps to make it look like it's coming to life. Okay, so that's that one done. I think I want an even stronger red. Let's just find my reds. I did go for the very large pack of Castle Arts pencils, so there. Just wanted the red to be more of a red than a pinky red, so I thought I'd pick the wrong one up. So I'm just going to go over it again, much darker in those corners, keeping it light there. I'm not changing like the pinky colour too much because at the end of the day we want to show light shining on the red and it will look a bit pinky because that's a desaturated red is pink practically. Right, okay, so now we've got this swivelly sweet here, so I'm just going to lay a flat colour down first and then we'll come in and colour up the values, create our values. I just need to sharpen. Now for me, I think the darkest edge is going to be right around the edge there, as it's probably going to be flat and then curve around the edges to go to the back. So I'm just going to come in and do that. There we go. And then I want the green again. I'm going to sharpen that one. So nice and dark around the edge. And then coming into the middle. Kind of shade it in so it's not dark and then straight away light. Just bring it in a little bit. There we go. And then the light is be on the top in the middle because that's where the light is. We can have quite a bit of dark here because it's being overshadowed by the other sweet as you can see. So just bring that round. Perfect. The sweets. We don't want everything to be red and green. What should we go for? Purple? We'll go for a purple sweet. So again, it's going to be, it's spherical. So we need the darkest purple. And you can just use one purple. Yeah, you just make layers and then press lighter for light and darker for darker colours. The darker value rather. Okay, so you can see there, very dark around the edge, and don't forget the shadow here because we've got that sweet there and we've got that sweet there. So that's going to create more shadow. We're going to come around and make the whole thing a bit more purpley than it is, a bit too pale. Perfect. So you can get a darker purple if you want to, and then you can really darken up the very edge there and there. Okay, and blend that in a little bit if you want as well. Okay, let's go for purple with, what colour dots? Purple and red doesn't go, does it? Purple and orange, purple and blue, maybe. Purple and blue, why not? And again, because that is down there in the shade, we need to make sure that's pretty dark down there. And that's light, and then we've got dark blue again around the edges. And all of that one is quite light. We'll do the sweet shape on the end, we'll do that blue. Now where the curve comes out, that's the dip. So we're going to have shadows in the dips. And then it will be lighter where it's not dipping. And then you'll get that kind of curved effect. But all I have to do is just make sure that's darker there. Okay, I am just using normal copy paper, just to warn you. So it's not the best paper for colouring and putting layers down. It will crumple like that. If you have thicker paper, this is only 80 GSM. Anything sort of above 180 is good. It shouldn't buckle in that way. Right, so I'm going to do red and blue on this one, I think. So I'm just going to lay down the first red colour. Trying to go in, as you can see, I'm trying to go in the shape of the sweet still. Now remember I said the bits that are the grooves are the bits that point out. So you want to create your shadow there. Blend it in a little bit. There we are. And again here. Blend it in. And then the outside edges are moving away from us, so that needs to be darker. There we go. As you can see, it makes a big difference to have those darker values in, but make sure you're shading them in and they're not too just like, oh, it's a line of red. We want it to blend into the rest of the sweet as well. With the blue that I've just used, where did that go? Here we are. Just going to have a blue stripe, so darker at the edges and lighter all along. And again, you could even leave like a little bit of white like that, so I'll show you what I mean. So say if I've drawn over it like that, if you've got an electric razor like I have, this is what this is really useful for. It's for coming back and creating little highlights on your sweets. See how that makes it shine? Makes it look like shiny paper. So we can have the same here. The same here. And it just helps to create that curve with some little highlights. It's a very simple thing, but it does make a big difference. Okay, so the final sweet over here, I should think we'll mainly colour that one green. Let's do it. Its main colour can be green. And then maybe we'll just throw in a bit more purple again. So again, just lay a colour down, keep turning your pencil so that you don't get a one-sided flat pencil. You don't forget to move your sheet around as well if you're a difficult angle. I'm trying to keep it in one place for you guys so that you can just see it coming together upright. Right, so now we come in with our shadows. Okay, and don't forget around the edges. And what did I say? Purple. Let's put some purple swathes on there. And come in with a darker purple around the edges. Remember, we're making it shine. Perfect. And we'll come in with this a little bit. And we'll create a little bit of shine down the front of that one. There we are. Okay. Now, in terms of colouring the glass, so we have to be careful about that. We have to think very carefully about what would have been in the background. Now, the glass is likely to be clear glass. So normally I would just shade it in grey pencil and leave it. Actually, I think what we'll do first is the cork. So again, I'm just going to come in and layer down a colour, get the cork done, and then we only have to focus on the glass. So just trying to get that base layer of colour down as quickly as I can, not forgetting to turn. I'm coming in under there with a bit more pencil just to create the shadow because it's underneath that bit of glass. But I will need to come in with a darker brown to really make that shadow come to life. So we'll go to here and come round, just adding some of that brown in and blending it round. If I am doing some detailed adult colouring, colourist work, I would probably have 3 or 4 colours to one thing, but this is beginner stuff, so let's not complicate it. It's important to have varying values of the same colour that you're using. I am going to turn it around a little bit, sorry guys, just so I can get in and do this. Okay, I really want to just shade up that top there, making the back a bit darker. There, see, it's transformed, isn't it? Right, what we didn't do was put in our little cork marks, so we'll do that first. It's important because we want to make sure it looks like cork. Again, we're not doing realism, are we? But just these little things, they all help. Okay, good. So what I would do now is get a really pale, let's say blue, and I think that kind of represents well sort of cold, icy kind of glass feel. But it's up to you. I'm not going to do much of it. I'm literally just going to come in and kind of outline the glass a bit. Come in and do this area. Because really what glass does is it reflects what's in the room. So it just depends what's in the room. But as we don't know where this is, all we want to do is just give it a splash of colour and not worry too much. I've still got some of my pencil lines there, but don't worry about that. So we'll darken the edges of these a bit because this is the shadow. Remember, this is an illustration. We're not going for realism here. Still life. So it's all good. And yeah, so we'll just fill in with a little bit of blue. Just gives the idea of something there. I'm not even going to colour in the whole thing. We're just drawing in these blue lines. Gives it a little bit of something. There. We're done. I hope you enjoyed that. Please do make sure to get yourselves the book. It's available on my You can have download or the actual physical book. I haven't got the physical book on me actually at the moment. I'm waiting for the proof to come because I did a change. You can also get it from TikTok shop as well. Just take a look, and I'll be adding a tutorial for every single page, so whatever page you're doing, you'll be able to come and find me. Eventually they'll all be done, not straight away as I've got a lot to do, but they will be there. Thanks everyone, bye.